time of year. Which have to request.
I think he said he was working out of town.
I think he did.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
There we go, and we are live.
Okay, I call the regular council meeting Monday, April 27th, 2026 to order. Is there any introduction of late items? No. Can I get a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda? Councillor Reid, Councillor Weitzel, all in favor? Carried.
The first item are adoption of minutes that the minutes from the regular council meeting held April 13th, 2026 be adopted.
Okay, I got a mover and a seconder. Councillor Weitzel and Councillor Reid. Any questions? All in favor? Carried.
The minutes from the public hearing, that the minutes from the public hearing for the official community plan amendment bylaw number 292, 2026 be received.
Okay, I got a mover and a seconder. Councillor Reid and Councillor Weitzel. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
And next we have a presentation from Jeff Witzke from the Columbia Valley RCMP with the quarterly report.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
So as you just mentioned there, this is the quarterly report. Now for our how we break it up for our fiscal years is April to March. So that's why this is a fourth quarter report is January, February, and March. So 3.5 months ago, but I'll give you the report, but I'll also just keep you updated on what's happened since then. So this is, like I said, this is the report for January, February, March 2026. In that those 3 months, the detachment handled 717 files, just about 100 files more than the previous year for the same time. What I can say is that those 100 files were probably generated by 3 individuals. They weren't actually done in Canal Flats, so it was mostly in Invermere, and it took a while to catch up to them, but not all separate, not together. Generated, like I said, close to between 80 and 100 files for service, and were all apprehended and arrested last month or so ago, and with like most of them had over 20 charges pending. So one's still in jail, one's in treatment, and one is on 24-hour house arrest. So we had a bit of an exciting, I guess, more so than we normally have for this time of year. But we, like I said, they were menace to the valley for better part of 2-3 months before we would catch up and get all the charges proved. So like I said, that wasn't reflect like nothing happened here. It was, like I said, in Vermeer, car chasing the radium, if you've heard about it, rammed up one of our police cars. So detachment, as we were just talking about prior to the meeting here, and I'll go over that, is typically our detachment runs with the 1 sergeant, 2 corporals, 8 constables, for 11 members and 3 administrative staff, 1 victim services worker. As I said, we in March 1st welcomed a Constable Richard Kehoe from Depot, and that would have given us, well, we technically are at 100% vacancy right now, or non-vacancy, however you look at it. Fully staffed for the first time in a long time. He doesn't technically count as a roadable police officer quite yet because it takes 6 months. He has to pass a bunch of competencies in order to get there, which we're confident he's going to. That being said, we are losing now a member, Constable Jardins. Actually, kind of how it worked is her fiance is in Depot, and because we don't have any vacant positions, he wasn't able to come back here. So they've decided that they're going to Fort Nelson, Northern BC, where there's a few vacant positions. So she's moving on, and she just had 3 years service, just up to completed 3 years service. So it's just gonna finding her own, and so she'll be missed, but that's the way they are, RCMP. So we will have a vacancy, and hopefully we have it filled. Radium just was at their meeting, and one thing that they asked about was, because I don't know if it's kind of in the news, is recruitment. What I can tell you with that is, in the last few months, they've moved their, I don't, they call it an allowance, because they're technically not paid or sworn officer until the end of your time at depot. They used to be about $500 to $600 a week is what they're paying people to go to depot. They just increased that to $1,000 a week. That was a few months ago, I think it came into effect. And just recently, how we used to do our recruiting, it was done through, it wasn't localized to the province. It's just changed. The E-Division, our province of BC said, no, we want to take back our recruiting, and we really want it, because the problem is like, it was taking upwards of 2 years. From the time you put in your application to the time that you can go to depot is up to 2 years. And so we're finding that we're losing a lot of interest, as people want to get on with their careers or whatever, or municipal police forces were hiring quicker. So we're trying to get it down to 90 days as a goal. I don't know if we're gonna see it. It would be shocking, but I have seen some positive. What they're doing is they're actually, so we're taking it back. We want to do our own recruiting for the province, and they're allowing us to say, hey, you have 2 or 3 applicants in your area, reach out to them, see how serious they are, see what their interests are, if they want to come back to the East Kootenays, where they want to go, so that we can kind of prioritize them and say, hey, this person's serious, they're showing us they're committed, and then those people are actually going to be bumped to the top of the list to get them through as quick as possible. That's the hope, whether or not it happens, but yes.
Do you need any subsidiary advertising through, say, municipalities, like putting out a message like that to anybody, just to, again, stir up more interest?
Well, we are trying to do some more like local recruitment. So I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know how it would look like as far as just saying we're cut, but you see it on. Oddly enough, the RCMP aren't the ones doing the recruiting on the TVs. I think it was during the Olympics. You could see that we're hiring signs. That's actually done by the RCMP Members Association, which is okay. I don't understand that. But locally, I'm not sure that. I'm sure it would be great advertising. I'm just not sure what it would look like. If it would be the papers or.
I think it would just, because we have our own accounts, through either social media or we also have the Canal Flats newsletter for young people that might be interested in.
That's a good. I'm gonna write it down and see if
if there's any
not permission.
But if nothing else, if I may, I can always just share what is prepared.
Yeah.
Officially, and then that's.
Yeah, if there's an official advertisement, we're happy to put it out for you.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Just to go over the attachment priorities that they're on, it's traffic safety, crime reduction, police community relations, and then member wellness. Within those are objectives for roadblocks this year. We weren't doing any roadblocks really the last few years, so we kind of wanted a baseline of 12 a month, which I thought was more than attainable. I was hoping the members would take the ownership in doing more. They did the very basic. The minimum was 12, so we did meet our goals. I want it to be better, so we will be improving on that for next year. But
sorry if I could. We're also hoping so we have the one speed side coming into town. We're getting a second or a third one. Is it a third?
Third one.
Third one that will go out towards the beach. So we're going to hopefully be collecting some data off that in regards to obviously what the actual percentage of people going over the limit is, and we'll plan to share that with you in case you'd like to come out and do some targeted times.
Absolutely.
Because we can pull all the data off.
That'd be great. You betcha. It always encourage your members to just be out though and be visible, because that's the number one prevention, is just being visible. So crime reduction this year, one of our main objectives is compliance checks. So that's just, we have a list of individuals in our community that are on either probation orders, release orders, or even like community sentence orders. where they're bound by conditions. The bigger one that we actually check for is the curfew. So if it's a 24-hour house arrest, or if it's being your home from 5 at night to 8 in the morning or whatever. We didn't have that. We didn't like, overall, we didn't have that many on conditions, but we still really targeted them, make sure that they were being compliant, like every second night type of thing. At the beginning, we found that they were breaching laws because they weren't taking their probation orders or whatever seriously. We had one on the CSO beginning of the year that we breached multiple times, was taken back. CSO was counseled, now back to jail. So near the end here, last 3 months, I think we had 4 actual breaches that we reported. So their compliance got way better, and we still followed through with that. Probably going to continue on with that next year, because it was really good. It was well received. I thought, anyways, and
Seems like it was successful.
yeah, right. And so, so community police relations. Again, I always preach that I think my members here do such a fantastic job of being part of the community, and whatever events it may be there. I don't have to ask very hard for them to get out and want to be part of whatever it is in the schools, local events, that kind of stuff. We have 2 members volunteering to coach baseball, one did hockey. So this quarter though typically is a little slower for community events. I guess maybe it's just the dog days, right? To January, February, March. So, and even with the schools, they don't seem to get as many asks for presentations. But like April 1st hit, and already we've done the law class at DTSS. We have a kids class coming on Friday for a detachment tour. The law class is coming. We have a bunch of presentations for some of the schools. Any of the schools, we've made them known that any presentations you want from us on bullying, online, sexting and that kind of stuff's a big one that we would help out, and bike rodeos. So we've got all of those lined up already. So, and then progress into the summer with all the events then. And then member wellness, again, I think, I look at this, and we kind of talked on members being long-term ODS or off-duty sick. In the 5 years that I've been here, we haven't had that. Our members want to get back to work as soon as they can if they are injured or whatever. And I think a lot of that goes to where we work and live. And with such a great community, us as a senior management have been very, encouraging of getting out there, using your time off to go out and be in the community, be part of that community. You're here, you want to be a lot of our members are actually 15-year service or up, and they want to stay here for the rest of their careers because they love it here. And so I think that's a reflection of where we're at with not having people off duty sick for long term, and why our vacancy rates are a little higher than most. So we encourage them to be out and about and do those kind of things. And so the member wellness it's always in the forefront of what we're talking about when we're discussing things. We did put in a grant through civil forfeiture for a member officer resiliency seminar. We actually find out in May whether or not we got approval for that. So if we do, I actually put in that proposal myself, and it's going to be for all of these communities. So we're hoping to target about 25 members that will come in for a day to get some resiliency training. So which is kind of new to police officers, especially in the RCMP world. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So locally, again, that's of the 717 files, 26 were for in Canal Flats, approximately 20 last year at the same time. So very similar calls. I see that whenever I'm doing these, is that typically for the quarters, the call volume is, very similar. So yeah. Other than that, I was just going to touch base. I don't want to take up too much of your time. we are doing this year's APP, our annual performance plans is starting to take shape this month. So if there's any suggestions or something you guys want to see from us to put into that, those objectives, the priorities, let me know now or via email. And then the other thing I'm gonna just touch on is the Health IM is it's a, I guess for lack of better words, it's a program that we're starting. We're one of the pilot projects for BC, and it's between us and Interior Health. It's an app that we put on our work phones for mental health calls. And so part of that is if you're going to a mental health call, if it's somebody that we've already been to that mental health call and we've already pre-programmed that information in, the good news is that it's all in there, and you'll have like their triggers or potentially the opposite of what things can calm them down or help them through a troubling time, which is great resourcing for us. The bigger part of what it does though is if you have a person we're going to do a mental health call, it's got 17 kind of questions, and depending on how we answer, gives us our risk assessment on whether it should be apprehended or not apprehended. And then if we are going to be making an apprehension, we hit a button on that app, which notifies our local hospital that we're going to be attending with this patient. And it'll give them that risk assessment. So I think it's great, like good things will come out of that is like officer safety issues. They're known to carry, if it's weapons or, needles in their pockets, that kind of stuff. Also, like I said, things that might escalate them versus things that might calm them down. So this is just kind of new. It was said as a pilot project. I think locally, I'm not sure how much, we have a pretty good working relationship with Interior Health. And so a lot of our mental health calls, if we don't know the individual, so if it's the first time, we're pretty good at, having our own check sheet, and what we decide and determine is, okay, we need to apprehend or versus not. But also just, we've kind of had this, like, we already notified the hospital on our own behalf saying, hey, we're coming in with this person, so they're aware of it. So we've got a pretty good working relationship. So, but there's, like I said, there's some positives in this app. I think in places like Cranbrooks, where there's more of a transient population in the Lower Mainland, where they're dealing with 50, 60 mental health calls a day type of thing, this would be a really good, positive tool for both first responders, police, and health authority. So, but then just to let you know, that is one thing that we're working with right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is a good tool. Go ahead. Oh,
You're good.
So a couple questions. One, what's the rate of information's being transitioned or commuted into charges in our area?
So like how many, so actually great question. Because we actually, the Crown prosecutors just came to us last couple of months ago saying, is there a reason why your charge rate is dropped? And so I'm sitting there like, because our call volume's better the same. And I was like, is it us? Is it what's going on? And we kind of assessed it, and we're pretty good. I got two great supervisors that review anything that's potentially charge consideration. And I just think we're kind of, it's ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. The rate of I would say that anything that we're sending to Crown for charge approval is, I would say 90% getting charge approval. Yeah. And I think conversely, we have, like I said, I've got two great supervisors that are like, this isn't going to need charge approval, so we won't go forward with it. And the files that I've reviewed to see if I agree and I do. So I think our charge approval, and it's interestingly enough, as Crown came to us and said, everybody's went up 20-30% charges over the last 2 years. You guys have come down. but everything that is coming from us is like I said, we're seeing charge approval and we're seeing convictions. So they said we're actually one of the better ones in these communities for like probably charge approval and conviction, so.
And then how are you guys seeing, what changes are you seeing now with the end of the 2.5 decreb? Are you seeing?
So we locally, when the decriminalization came up too, most people didn't even know about it. I was like, hey, went to the school board and I was like, we should probably get ahead of this because kids are gonna be potentially going to high school parties and graduation parties with people being able to possess up to 3 grams of fentanyl, which is enough to probably kill 30 individuals type of thing. And they're like, we talking about? I'm like, well, this is decriminalized. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, so we don't see, like, we know there's recreational use here. We have drug dealers in town, but they're at a lowest. They're not at a very big scale. So with the decrim, we're not. It wasn't when it was decriminalization. We didn't see much difference. And then like we weren't having people being like, hey, we can do drugs in the park, now we're going to. Like by and large, we don't have a big like drug user kind of, I don't know if it's culture is the right word, community. Like it's not, like I said, people are using it, but it's recreationally and it's in their own privacy of their homes type of thing. So we're not seeing, there hasn't been a big,
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, like I mean,
That's surprising given the tourism transient worker
absolutely,
population.
yeah, and I would say that, like I said, I'm used to do drug enforcement, so when I look at and not to be stereotyping, but when somebody's like, that's a drug dealer in our community, and I'm like, he's living in a trailer that has like he's not selling that much product, just he'd be in a way nicer, like, sorry, I meant like trailer like in the bushes. Yeah, there's no running water, plumbing, that kind of stuff. I'm like, when I was doing drug enforcement, we were targeting guys that are living in multi-million-dollar homes. I mean, there is obviously a lot in between, but I'm like, this individual might be a drug dealer, but not very good.
It's good you can say that. So, you're very good at this.
Yeah.
Good job.
Exactly. You should have stuck at school because it's not working. So, like I said, we're not naive that there isn't drugs being used. We're just not seeing it like openly, and yeah.
So any other questions? So we are talking tonight about the ATV bylaw.
Yeah.
The ATV club is having a meeting on the 7th, I believe, in the seniors part. At 7 o'clock, I believe it is. I will get you the time and stuff. If you could have a member show up and just be present and they can ask questions, that would be good. And the permits will be at the Black Sheep campground, so that's where they will get the permitting from. And that the reason for that is they're open on weekends, we're not. So we thought that would be the best place for them to go.
Okay. So just for there's the bylaws gonna be passed that you basically will get a permit.
Yeah.
And that'll be like time ending, like it'll be for the weekend, or would it be for the?
It'll be for a year. The permit will be for a year. It'll be renewed every year. They have to be a member of an ATV club. Doesn't have to be this one, but a ATV club, because then they have the insurance coverage. And I don't know what else they've had on there, but I think that's about it.
And is it gonna be for specific roadways?
That's what we're discussing tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
If it's adopted, I will be sending it to you.
Okay.
That's all my to-do.
okay, perfect. Awesome.
So that's we're kind of a pilot, I guess, too. Because everybody else in the valley here wants to know how it's gonna go and how it's gonna work, and are asking us how we went about to get it done. So we kind of followed what Alfred did. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was gonna speak to it when the topic came up, but I'll include you in the conversation, actually. It is a pilot project. Staff is going to be keeping track of any complaints we receive from the public. And because, you know, it could happen. I would appreciate it if we could hear any from your end as well.
For sure. Yeah.
Just, you know, and it's supposed to be reviewed in a year.
Excellent. So what would, when would it take effect? Or is that what you're
It
discussing?
would essentially take effect once it's passed.
Okay. So
And the only change that's been made since I had you review it, I think, what, a year ago, is that, you recommended a clause about the helmets, and so I added the helmets. And, just adding a different route to what was originally identified.
Absolutely.
Those have been my changes.
Okay, perfect.
And yeah, got any questions for us? Okay.
Yeah. That's it. We'll see you in 3 months.
Okay.
If not sooner. If you could send me an email on the
Bylaw?
or on the ATV, the meeting too.
Oh, yeah, meeting, yeah, okay.
Unfortunately, I am gone that week. But I will make sure somebody gets here. If it's not, I know the reservist Brad is, I think
I think it's a part of the ATV club, isn't
he
it?
probably is. So
Yeah, so yeah, if you could, that would help out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Awesome.
And if you got any other members that want to join.
You betcha. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next item is RDK time observance, that the letter from the Regional District of East Kootenay regarding the RDK time observance is received for information.
I get a mover and a seconder, Councillor Reid and Councillor Whitesell. Discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Whitesell.
So when we hit November 1st this year, we're gonna fall back an hour and we're gonna stay there.
No.
So I thought you said right now we're.
Well, it's changed because of what Alberta's doing.
I don't think anybody knows yet.
I agree.
I thought that's what this is saying.
Oh.
It says that we're gonna go there until the survey comes back, basically, like the plan is
Yes.
to go
Yes.
back to Mountain Standard
It was, yes. So,
as of April 21st, right?
yes.
So something's now happened between then and now.
So Alberta now is gonna stay on daylight savings time.
So
So,
where we're at right now.
Yeah. so I don't know what's gonna happen with RDK. That's what we were waiting for before, because we wanted to follow what Alberta did. Alberta's following what BC's doing. So we may just stay daylight savings time. So we'll find out from RDK next week.
It may not need to be a survey.
So they're not.
There might not have to be a survey. Okay. So, good question. Anything else? Well, and to be honest, we were kind of thinking Alberta was gonna do that, because then there's the same time as Saskatchewan as well, and it stays the same time.
And
So,
AKBLG, there was a couple of counselors that were trying to propose a half an hour difference. Split the difference, yeah, that was not very popular.
yes. All in favor? Okay.
The building permit report, that the building permit report for March 2026 be received for information.
Okay, I got a mover and a seconder, Councillor Reid and Councillor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor?
The fire chief report, that the Canal Flats Fire Rescue Report for March 2026 prepared by Fire Chief Farrell be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder, Councillor Whitesell and Councillor Reid? Any discussion? Go ahead, Councillor Reid.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Chief Farrell and Deputy Klein for their completion of their interior operations training.
Oh, right on, yeah.
Mhm.
Anything further? All in favor? Carried.
The Parks Arena report, that council received the March 2026 Parks and Recreation Report for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder, Councillor Whitesell and Councillor Reid? Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The Public Works report, that council received the March 2026 Public Works Report for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder, Councillor Reid, Councillor Whitesell? Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
Community enhancement report, that the community enhancement officer report for the month of March twenty twenty-six be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Reid, Counselor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Or did you have-
My hand up first.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
My hand was,
Well,
no dog complaints this last month? All is quiet?
seem like it.
Okay.
None officially.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess it has to be official, so.
All in favor? Carried.
The CAO report for February, March, that the CAO report for February and March twenty twenty-six be received for information.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Whitesell and Counselor Reid. Any discussion? Go ahead, Counselor Whitesell.
Just thank you for all the detail.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
really like it.
I was like, how many things am I doing now? All of them.
Okay, Counselor Reid.
I just wanted to note, thank you for the health and safety part of things. Sometimes we're a little lacking on that. So I know that you're,
Yes.
know that you're working on it and, yeah.
Good. Anything further? Yeah, go ahead.
Just one thing, reading about the utilization of space within the Columbia Valley Center.
Mhm.
Is that what is that costing us? And do we have a lot? I don't remember specifically talking about it during the budget. So I'm just not, sorry, through the mayor.
No, go ahead.
Just about how much would that space reassessment be costing?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we haven't, I have enough things that I don't know. I think we're gonna get some benefits by doing multiple buildings. But when we put out the RFP, what we'll do is we'll put it out without cost to see what it comes back as. 'Cause at this point, I'm not sure, especially since we need,
It might be just like a special ask in a session. Is that kind of?
yeah, that's probably what
Okay.
we'll do, yeah.
Okay.
Anything further? All in favor? Carried.
The CBT Ready grant, that council confirm the twenty twenty-six CBT Ready grant funding recommendations as presented.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Whitesell and Counselor Reid. Discussion. Go ahead.
We received an email from the regional district and they would like to know what you would like to do with the leftover $115.46. Would you like to let it ride for next year or would you like to allot it to somebody else?
Go ahead.
I think we had discussed, Mayor Doherty and I, because Councillor Reid had to go for work just almost at the end. She almost made it. But I think we had agreed that we were just going to roll it over into next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything? Let it ride. All in favor? Carried.
RBC Banking, that the mayor and councillor, together with the chief administrative officer, corporate officer, and chief financial officer, be authorized to sign the RBC master client agreement for business clients, and that the chief administrative officer, corporate officer, and chief financial officer, or any one of them, together with the mayor or any one of the councillors, are authorized to sign on behalf of the Village of Canal Flats for any banking transactions.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Reid, Counselor Whitesell. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
The bylaws, twenty twenty-six tax rate bylaw, that Village of Canal Flats 2026 tax rates bylaw number 294, 2026 be adopted.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Whitesell and Counselor Reid. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried.
And the off-highway recreational vehicle bylaw, that Village of Canal Flats off-highway recreational vehicle regulation bylaw number 274, 2025 be adopted.
Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Whitesell and Counselor Reid. Any discussion?
So I do have some concerns. I know we're not supposed to discuss it at adoption, but I'm gonna just bring it forward. Just one of the concerns I have is closing off the loop of the big block. That now you've got a big block and that people could never get off it. Just go around,
Just become a racetrack.
just become a racetrack.
So you want Shaughnessy to go all the way to Bailey Brahma?
Well, that's what I was kind of hope for. I mean, you'd have to rescind third reading now, but it's just a consideration, just something, we can leave it as that. But like I explained, we would be wanting to watch
Yeah,
how it's being used and maybe amend it if it becomes problematic, that.
I did see one mistake we may have made, Arbuckle. Cause that's where the gas station was.
Oh,
Oh, it does have to go down
Yeah,
just so that you can get to the gas station. I see what you mean.
so it could either come from the
You
backside.
can adopt it. If you're.
right, I can add, the only thing, and then I guess just an in and out, is that what council would want?
Or, yeah,
Or for just from Burns or just all of Arbuckle? Or, and that between Burns and Bailey
right,
Rome?
yeah,
I think it would have to be all, sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I think it would have to be all of Arbuckle, because then you have somebody that is going down Bailey Groman, not able to turn into,
They'd have to-
they'd have to go all the way around. It would be kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
redundant. And if I may,
Yes.
to the corporate officer's comment, we do have that thing in our bylaw, or the clause in our bylaw that states that we can't go above 30 kilometers an hour along, or was it 35 kilometers an hour? So while there is this worry about racing around the loop, I wouldn't really want to see a 35 kilometer an hour race.
Yeah, go ahead.
And ultimately, people are gonna make bad choices no matter what we say, so, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it does make it kind of enticing, but at the same time, people are gonna do things we don't like, whether we have this bylaw or not. And they're gonna make bad choices, can't stop that.
But we did see some people riding theirs today slowly on this road here.
I did also see 5 coming down Granger Road though,
Oh, yeah,
on the weekend.
okay.
I am, this didn't really go out to the public, if I may, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This didn't really go out to the public. And not everybody owns an ATV, and not everybody's gonna appreciate the ATV route. And so I think we have to be prepared that there may be some pushback
Yeah.
from the non-ATV users, that, you know, if there's noise, if there's people going up and down.
Yeah, if there's.
While they're trying to have there's no time set either, so if you're trying to have your nice barbecue and people are mopping back and forth, it might get a little.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, and in that same vein, just finished drafting a good neighbor bylaw, which will, I'll present as a replacement for the unsightly products, but it will include, noise like that on both private and public lands. So we could find that if it becomes a thing, you know, people can make those complaints in that bylaw. So there are going to be other options that will align with this. But yeah, having like some times might be the second iteration, or might be an amendment to the bylaw, depending on the kind of complaints we get.
Well, while we were away, we did have a lot of people talk about the bylaw. They were quite happy with it. They wanted to see it in Kimberly for some reason. And they talked to myself and Mayor Fairburn from Alford and asked how to get things done. Nick Preston was another one that was. Yeah. Yeah. So I was quite, they're gonna wait, of course, to find out what it ends up at, but it was quite fascinating to find out that there's a lot of people looking at that. So. Anything further? All in favor? Carried. And I would move to,
Can I
Oh,
just
go
throw
ahead.
one
Sorry,
thing
go
out,
ahead.
just so you know? We're looking at inviting for council to have a committee of the whole at the beginning of June to, what we're going to be doing hopefully is giving you a package of a number of bylaws and policies for review, maybe every quarter, or maybe even more often if we can keep our momentum going. But we wanna book that with you in advance for the first Monday of June, because you'll get that package in the next couple of weeks, because it'll be, I think,
Okay,
maybe 4 or 5 bylaws and policies. So you'll need some time to look at those. But that's what we'd like to do, so that bylaws and policies that are particularly new or might be considered somewhat contentious, that council has the opportunity to have a fulsome discussion and a public opportunity for the public to have more input, because it'll go to committee before it goes to regular council and for adoption. So,
okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
got a lot.
Okay,
I think that we haven't done many committee of the wholes lately. But quite honestly, they're booked, so we should be booked for them regardless.
Yeah, I notice people have other employments, so we're trying to minimize, but that way it's an opportunity for you to ask questions without it also having other agenda items that make it extra long, right? We just want to use your time well.
okay. So I will adjourn the meeting. Can I get mover and seconder, Councilor Reid, Councilor Whitesell? All in favor? Councilor Reid, Councilor Whitesell.